And here we go. Here we go. Welcome to Worldwide Ramblings. As winter returns here in New York, it is the 12th of April. We have had days in March where it was cracking 70 and wearing my shorts and what have you, and that weather's coming back. But this morning I woke up to a active snowstorm. Karen had a 12:45 MRI. By then, temperatures were like in the low 40s and the roads were clear. That wasn't the issue. But for a while there, I mean, we have snow on the grass again and what have you, an inch, inch and a half, something like that. And not for me, but apparently it is. Brenda was first. Hi, Brenda. Karen Phillips as well. Brenda says, hello, Jack, Karen, and family. And so does Karen, basically. Tammy Tessie is here. Hey, guys. William Brown, downtown William Brown returns. Hi, Jack. I'm now in San Antonio, Texas. Oh, okay. That's a beautiful area that I really only visited once. Went to the Alamo and John Hagee's church there. That goes back to the 90s, William. BK, we haven't seen you in a while. In a Y. I've never seen you at the Y, but then again, I don't really go there. I just drop Karen off. I used to go to the Y, but nah. I just got to get out there and walk. That's basically doctor's orders, Georgia Peach, hello, Jack. Can't wait to hear about Johnny Mathis. Yes, I'm going to do some of that, but I'm also going to do a separate pre-recorded video, Georgia Peach, with a little roll-in video that I really wasn't supposed to take. The guy next to me was filming a lot more, and the ushers there at the theater, God bless their hearts, were average age 85, maybe. Wonderful, sweet people. Wonderful, sweet people. Johnny Mathis. 98% white audience. I never saw so many crackers. I never saw so many crackers in my life, and they were all old, except for maybe 5-10%. Like the guy sitting right next to us was 20-something maybe, and he was the guy filming right next to me. We had aisle seats, but you're still going to have to get up and sit back down again because, people are going to need to get out of those seats. And I hate to be the one in the middle. I always try to get an aisle seat. Hi, Pam Donnelly. You sent me some nice stuff. We're still digesting a lot of the emails because I was away till Friday afternoon, well into Friday afternoon, and coming back from Shippensburg. I forgot to put the second S in there. Shippensburg, PA. Hi, all from Indiana, says Pam. Teresa Panel. Hey, Pam, how are you? I mean, Teresa. I don't know why I said Pam. I just spoke to Pam. Hi, Pam. And hi, Teresa Panel. Boyd is here with an upside down head. Maybe he is on one of those amusement park rides, and you don't want to be doing that when the power goes out and you're hung upside down there. I don't know why I say these things. Susie Q, Susie Young. Hi, y'all. Yeah, you fixing to join us for a while there, Susie? I hope so. Ted Richards is here. Hi, Ted. And June Joyner. Hello, Jack and everyone. Welcome, June Joyner. You always remind me of Jane Justice. 2 JJs. I don't know why. Roll-in video sounds fantastic. Yeah, I loved him too. You can still love him because he might record one more album. There is talk of that. Because how much golfing can you do? That's his plan. And since he is having memory loss, he wants to get that done. He'll be 90 in September. He'll be 90 years old in September. Heather Feather is here. Hey, Jack, who is the guy doing the virtual church of truth. I'm irritated. Well, tell YouTube in a report if you um, feel that way. I suppose. It's a guy who comes on here every once in a while, and the first name is like Little, the first name. And gee, I I have said on more than once that if you're going to be a YouTube creator, you've got to expect criticism. To have a whole channel, which doesn't really get a lot of views, doing these shorts where you're playing, the Green Day song, American Idiot. I don't want to be an American Idiot, right? Um, what can I say? I have way too much to think about in my life than that. But, if you're going to do something, do it well. Put some thought into it, I suppose. So, and it's not just me that he mentions. He mentions Matt Savina, who's battling cancer. And he mentions now Gene Ho. And I don't think either one of them care at all about what he thinks. Obviously, it's an offense to this audience, too. Rob Schneider has a good comeback. You can see this on one of his comedy specials when somebody is expressing dissatisfaction with something he just said. He says, "What's the matter? What's the matter? You mad? You mad about something I said?" Well, see, the great thing about free speech is it just doesn't protect what you like. It protects what someone else uh, uh, likes. So to have free speech, then you've got to be willing to understand that you have to be willing to understand that you're going to hear things that you find offensive. And so you're more than willing, he says, to develop a complete comedy act and sell out a theater like I just did. So it doesn't bother me. Sam Sammy is here. Hi, Sam Sammy. J-Cat as well. Miles Wright. Ted Richards, as I said. Chris. Mr. Cola. Hey, Jack. Where are you a male Chris or a female Chris? And where are you watching from? I'll give you an update on Bob Joyce, and then I'll do some Johnny Mathis, okay? Well, I'm just Heather, I'm just I'm just a YouTube creator in terms of Pastor Bob. Yeah, that's a whole other story. Sometimes what we're dealing with is self-appointed Elvis protectors that feel that, that any dissenting viewpoint shouldn't be allowed. So they would probably be a lot more comfortable in Russia. It would be a lot more comfortable in Russia. So there are guidelines. There are YouTube guidelines. If you step over those guidelines, well, then, of course, my hope is that YouTube will take care of that. EBG, that guy is always changing his YouTube name. He trolls the original video of Bob singing in the restaurant weekly. Yeah, someone who's always on the computer and it's always negative and it's not very good. It's not very good. So that's that's a major problem. Jeffrey, Jack from Janesville, Wisconsin here. Well, that's great. We don't hear a lot from Wisconsin, Jeffrey. And Jeffrey is saying, hi, Jack, Janesville, Wisconsin. Cool. Cool. Is it cool still there, or is it starting to warm up in Wisconsin? It's probably warmer in Wisconsin. Donna is here. Hi, Donna. think you were from, I want to say North Dakota, but that may not be right. I'm trying to remember. Try to remember the kind of April where it's snowy and cold and you're ready, so ready for spring. Sandra Weber, I made alive. Yes, you did, Sandra Weber. Hey, y'all, from Nashville, Tennessee. So you kind of escaped the tornadoes where you are, Sandra? Semi, Elvis says, hello, hello. Sammy hits the thanks button that's at the bottom of the screen for $2.79. Thank you. Watertown isn't far from Fredonia. That's right. We did talk about that. Eventually it'll stick in my head, hopefully. Yeah. I remember the newscaster doing stories on the Fredonia station. Every once in a while, he would mention Watertown. He would mention other places too that I'd have to think about. A lot of Indian names up there. Of course, we were in Chautauqua County. Warmer today, Jack, says Jeffrey. Isn't that something? Yeah, a lot of places are warm. Texas is warm right now, I'm pretty sure, right? Cindy G in Tennessee. I love it. Hey, Nashville. I'm East Tennessee. So we've got two Tennesseans here so far, at least. Good evening, Jack, says Jane Justice. And everyone, it's Bristol baby here, Bristol, Connecticut. Bristol baby here this weekend's NASCAR is still going strong. I saw some coverage of that. Yes. Now, what do they call you? The Food City or something like that? Is there a lot of good eats there? I think I heard that in the reporter that was on with John Scott this afternoon on Fox News. I love watching John Scott, but since they moved him up, I don't see him quite as much. But today we were home. We had gone out for a little bit because Karen had that MRI at about 12:30. And then we went over to Price Chopper for a couple of things. And Jackie Organ says, Jack, it's cold, windy here where I live. And because that's right, now you're going into your fall, you said, right, Jackie Organ, and Aussie land, the Australian land. Oh, yes, thanks for reminding me, Ted. Folks, especially if you have not subscribed yet, please listen up. We are 5 away from 10,000. 5 away. We were 3 away. That means 2 people got pissed off with something I said. Can you imagine that? Maybe because I did a UFO video and I said I believe in UFOs. We don't know exactly what they are. I leave these mysteries and I leave them in the hands of the Lord because he can do that. He's the creator of all things. He doesn't need my consent. You know what I'm saying? But we have a new video up, which, I put a video up like that knowing full well it's not going to get thousands and thousands of views. But I believe in having some diverse programming on the channel and putting up things that only a certain amount of people will like. Like when I do the Johnny Mathis video, I'm going to roll in about 3-4 minutes. You'll hear him sing Moon River. Now, unfortunately, I don't have an iPhone. I have an Android phone. So that always means that the face of the main performer is going to be whited out because the spotlight is shining directly on him. Whereas the people behind him, that's not the case. You can see them. But you'll hear the incredible performance of Johnny Mathis, and I'll talk about that in just a few minutes. I think I've acknowledged everyone here except Neo. I have less, but I am close to 400. I got to check you out, Neo. It seems like lately it's, we had a lot of comments on the pre-recorded video with 2 pieces of roll-in video. Bob at the House and Bob 2011. We're well over 7,000 views now. It's the hottest video I've had in a while, and it keeps growing, and I hope it does. Some people say, why did you wait to put something up? Well, you don't want to cannibalize what you have up now, but the UFO video is not going to cannibalize a Bob Joyce video, because they're obviously totally different subjects, you know. Mary Cole, hi everyone. Where are you from, Mary? I think we've seen you before. And Miss Carter is here. Hey, Miss Carter. Welcome, welcome, welcome. A lot of fun. So the mystery, and as we talked about this, can't see your comments when I go to another screen, but I'll try to catch them. The wild new Bob Joyce video just deepens the mystery, puts another twist into the Bob Joyce story. Of course, most of you know, I believe there's Robert Wayne Joyce, and then there's Bob Joyce, who seems to have appeared on YouTube in 2011. We don't have much backstory on him, but those of you who say that he did some carpentry, since we will be rolling in new pictures, since he is obviously a skilled carpenter, I think we can say, that sounds like it might be plausible that there were times when he did that. So when Gregory Pritchard, I think I was saying Pritchard, it's like people, foreign doctors will call me, they won't even call me Willard, emphasizing the Lord, which I hate. They'll turn the W to a V. Mr. Villard, Mr. Villard, you know. Indian doctors will do that, for example. And it's pointless to try to say them. The name is simply Willard. So James Pritchard, not Pritchard, as I was saying. I don't know why I caught that as I was listening to myself in the playback. But I did correspond with him, and we are going to set up as of right now, this is how it looks. So we're going to set up a pre-recorded phone interview, and it'll be at a time when it's convenient for him and convenient for me, that we can pull it together. Some people didn't think that he should have went to his house and what have you. And then, of course, once he got there, we're looking at Pastor Bob Joyce, and as many of you noted, looks different. He looks younger. He looks less like Elvis, if we're going to tell the truth. And then when I showed that video clip in this hot video, wild new Bob Joyce video, when I showed the video clip from like 2011, a chubbier Bob Joyce who's just come onto the scene, my personal opinion, I just had to say at this time, was we were looking at Elvis Presley. That's just my opinion. I speak of possibilities. I could be wrong about the whole thing. So this mystery here, when doubt of who we are looking at and what have you, that helps obviously keep the story contained and what have you. We have a video called, I believe it's called Sometimes a Bob Joyce Appears That Looks Different. A lot of people have seen that one. And we show pictures of 3 or 4 different people. Lookalikes seem to be in the mix. Now, as I have said more than once, I don't buy the 4 brothers thing. There's Elvis, there's Jesse, there's Tony, and the other one, Jimmy, is it? Whatever it is. I don't buy it. So I know there's a woman who has a site on Facebook, and she's got a lot of rules, and you have to swear an oath and what have you, and all that. And I'm not interested in that. I just I'm not going there. You have to follow your gut. Like when let me go back to the live stream for just a little bit. When someone new or fairly new contacts me, and they immediately are interested, I've got some stuff to tell you, but it's really big, and I'm going to have to, talk to you on the phone about this. They're saying this straight up. or even meet you to tell you, like, yeah, I'm thinking back to the Watergate times where Deep Throat, who was going to spill the beans on what happened um, at the Watergate Hotel, et cetera, and what was going on in the Nixon administration, meets in a parking garage, and he's wearing his trench coat, that kind of thing. I kind of I have to trust my gut on this. That doesn't mean I'm totally dismissing the person, or I wouldn't want to talk to the person a little more. Um, but I'm not going to just plunge straight ahead in that. If we're going to be real honest, do you mind if I'm real honest, Chi Chi? um, there is a portion of people that like this topic or embrace this topic and consume it that are mentally ill. They are mentally ill and they look for these kind of stories. Some just believe, some just immerse themselves in the Bob Joyce Elvis topic. Others believe that every famous person they ever liked faked their death too. I don't do those topics. I did Paul McCartney. I even did a video on JFK Jr. just to get it out there. If somebody gives me some really good information and pictures and documentation, I could change my mind. I thought the Paul McCartney story was full of twists and turns, that Paul died in a car accident in 66, but I don't believe that he did. I believe it's a slight possibility because of all that is presented in the movie, which is, you can find it on YouTube. It's called Paul McCartney is Really Dead. So I thought, well, this is a story with many different facets to it, and I did a video on that. It did okay, but my audience is Bob Joyce. No matter what else I do, it's always going to be for the foreseeable future anyway. Um, the people most want to hear about Bob Joyce. If I do a video about Elvis and don't put Bob Joyce in the title too, it often doesn't do that well. People have kind of heard the early Elvis stuff, and there's still some appetite for what happened back then in 1977. But really, people are. It's all about hearing what's new with Pastor Bob Joyce. It's just the way it is. So there are a certain amount of people that I will encounter, and I'm sure the other guys do too, that sound a little off. Sound a little off. Then there are others that, they just have wild imaginations and what have you. They're not crazy or anything, but they're given to sometimes maybe vain imaginings. And then there's people that so many of you bring me great stuff and stuff from Facebook groups and what have you, and updates. And there's just a ton of people, some of them that are here right now, that send me really good stuff. But I have to always decide whether I'm going to go down this rabbit hole, whether it feels right to me to go down this rabbit hole. Um, so, in terms of the woman on Facebook that specializes in, there are four Elvis Presley brothers. I I don't feel like it's a rabbit hole I want to go down. I don't think it's likely to be the truth. EBG. Hinton lost his license to practice due to prescribing meds. Hinton, uh, are you talking about Dr. Nick? Was that his last name? Did I ever know Dr. Nick's last name? I don't remember. I don't think it was Hinton, but I could be wrong. No. So who is Hinton? Jody Smith. Jack, I say to those people, if you don't know the full reasons of why he did what he had to do, then you wouldn't know the Pastor Bob Joyce connection. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't want to know, or they do know, and they understand perfectly well that there's some valid information we are passing on, but they say they're offended that we do it. They're offended that that we do it. That's their way of protecting Elvis. Well, the Holy Spirit has this in check. He has since 2011. So the Holy Spirit is able. And I always pray that if I'm saying something that would be contrary to what the Holy Spirit would want me to say, um, because I've got enough problems with deliberate sin, I don't want to say things that are against what the Holy Spirit is doing, and obviously He can stop that. All right, EBG, that was the real Bob at the house. Is that what you're saying? The real Bob. Does that mean Robert Wayne Joyce, or you feel it's the same person who preaches every Sunday at Household of Faith Church? Is that what you're saying? I have to sometimes, kind of figure it out what someone is saying. Hi, Jack and everybody. I hope everyone is okay. Hello, Faith Lloyd. Jack, I say, oh, that's the same one. Yes, I've met him so many times. So you're saying we have to be so clear because this is such a complicated story, EBG. People commented that the man at the house looked somewhat different than the pastor we see, yet he was wearing a shirt that we have seen Pastor Bob preach in at the church. He was wearing that shirt that we have seen before. Very nice shirt. Of course, he's a snappy dresser, and he just looked different. He looked less like Elvis, whereas at the church he looks very much like Elvis Presley. And when you get back to 2011, now I understand that Elvis may well have had some surgery. The Elvis nose job came early. I think he altered the structure of his nose. People often talk about that. Also, people have told me, EBG, that they have gone to that church and he has blue eyes, just like the king of rock and roll did. And this man clearly had brown eyes. Now, then we start talking about that leads to brown contacts. He would have had enough time to put them in, I suppose, because Willina answered the door. Willina answered the door. But it's getting pretty far-fetched. They would say, oh, I better put my brown contacts in, and I better, that I would do a video with brown contacts would be important. He wouldn't have known that. So there's a lot of twists and turns here. Sue A is here. Earlier today, saw a picture with another guy, looked just like Pastor Bob, different hairstyle. Huh. I don't believe that this gentleman, Gregory Pitchard, used any kind of a filter. Several people have mentioned that, Heather. I mean, I don't think he just showed up and did a video for his kid and put it online. I don't, obviously, you can't rule out anything, but it seemed, I know we always have to think about CGI and AI. I realize that in so many things that we look at today. Just go back and watch old EP stuff. His eyes are different colors. Well, they said in the Elvis movies that the lighting sometimes would make his eyes appear brown. And I also know that Pastor Bob, I've heard him, can alter his voice, his talking voice. There are times in the same sermon, he will go from the voice you heard at the house to more of an Elvis sound in his talking voice. When he relaxes and he's having fun and he kind of forgets, maybe. I don't know. There's so many things you have to wonder. Some people have chameleon eyes. I think he has a chameleon face, EBG. And EP did. It's like he looks different. So I had to, after this, and we'll talk with Gregory, hopefully in the coming weekend, or probably, I would say it would probably debut next Friday if we can make that happen, because Andy's got to be involved in this and in post production. And if there's anything, that has to be edited out because Gregory's not comfortable with it or I'm not comfortable with it, that kind of thing. But I'm not trying to censor anyone as long as they, stay within broadcast professionalism. Um, by the way, we have 105 watching now, 32 likes, 5 away the last I checked, and I can't see what the current subscribers is. So someone, if they want to keep check, they want to, I don't know what you can see on your screen, but if you want to quickly look at another video, sometimes it might not update right away though. 5 away from 10,000. I would really like to make that in this show. That would be nice. Please subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, and if you can, hit the thanks button for any amount. 99 cents is fine. $2, $5, $10. Hit the thanks button there at the bottom of your screen. I'll give you the Cash App a little bit later on. Jeffrey, we should all get on a bus and visit the church in person. Not enough seats. Then have a conversation about what we've seen. And any given Sunday, we did an update. About 150 people can get into the sanctuary. 25% of them are regular church members from Benton area, and they have, of course, guaranteed seats. So that leaves 75% visitors, maybe 150 in the overflow room. You're having to get there earlier and earlier. If you get there at 9 o'clock in the morning and think you're getting into the sanctuary, it better be it better be pouring rain or something. And even then, no, you've got to be there. Sometimes the line has formed as early as 6:30 in the morning. It's a phenomenon. You have to understand they're coming from all countries, other parts of the United States. Um, when they open up the new church, whether it be July or June, um, there'll be perhaps 300 seats. They're not sure about what kind of overflow room they're going to have because there's just the one building. They can have a tent for the summer, but you got to find a way to cool that tent because we're talking about Arkansas heat. So I would go for a prefab building that can be rolled in pretty easy that you could air condition, but I don't know. And it's not, obviously they're not going to listen to me. I'm just saying that they do understand they're not really solving the problem because they need 1,000 seats. Comfortably, they need 1,000 seats, and they're supposedly very serious about starting the big sanctuary on the same property. They have 9 acres total. So there's supposedly that's phase 2. They're going to start phase 2. And if they don't have a professional crew, it would take years to get that up. So they would need a professional crew there, a large one, just like if you were building a Dollar General or any big building. They need, of course, a sanctuary, a building much bigger than a Dollar General. Yeah, I don't deal with Jimmy Ellis. People want to talk about him still being in the mix and what have you. Richard Lyon, the Grand Patriarch, is here. Why bother with 300 seats? People might not come thinking, still may not get in. Well, they come in now and end up in the overflow room. It's it was already standing. What I said, Richard, what I would have done is I would have just had it be one big hall, and in towards the back of the church, you've got a kitchen set up, and you've got tables that you can quickly move the chairs around and have a fellowship there. No classes or anything like that on during the Sunday service. I don't know how many children they have go there. It doesn't seem like they have many at all. And just do that, and maybe you would have gotten 400. I don't know, but that's not why they did it. But people want to come. They want to come, and yeah, it's a real drag if you don't get in. Um, no plans to move the church to Hot Springs to like use the Horner Hall Theater, 1,000 seat place. No plans at this time to use that. It's 45 minutes away from the current sanctuary. They'd have to bus the people over there while they're still building a new sanctuary on the main property. Um, I think the plan is that the church that they're going to have, which is a former horse barn, is going to become like for the youth. So they want to reach out and have more youth in their church. I understand, and obviously you need a youth pastor. So so how are you, Richard? How's your testing going? How's your health? Give me any kind of heads up if you're going to say something you definitely want me to see, okay? And don't ever say it when I'm on another screen because then I'm going on like I'm going on a treasure hunt and I don't even have one of those Geiger counter things. Again, I'm not going to be put in another room now. Yep, I understand. Everybody wants more space, and obviously, the way to do that would have been to buy an existing building, a local supermarket closed down, maybe, huh? We've got properties like that in my neck of the woods. I don't know about where you live because it's such a popular place, Richard. But you just take over what was a very big department store. Lord knows department stores are closing everywhere, and there's going to be your big church. You don't have to build it; you just have to remodel the inside. You know, there is there is that possibility, and that could even be temporary, where you're renting it. We're going to rent this while we're building the big sanctuary. It's in downtown Benton somewhere, or what have you, in that area, and we're going to rent this big place, and it's not going to be all that fancy. We'll do the best we can, but it will hold hundreds and hundreds of people. And there's your temporary fix. There's your temporary fix. It's funny, businesses open up in this city, and I say to Karen, and I'm not saying I'm 100% right on this, but I say to Karen, that will never work. That will never work. And sure enough, 5, 6 months later, they're out of business. Or sometimes they hang on forever and they're unsuccessful the whole time they're open. We had a cheesesteak place downtown. You The guy did really nothing to really get people in there. When he saw things weren't working, he didn't make changes. And just up the road from him is the number 7 hot dog restaurant in the US, which is a little hut that used to be like a snack bar or something across from the police station. It's called Holy Dog. And holy smokes, Batman, you go around there at lunchtime and they're lined up on the sidewalk in the freezing cold to get their hot dogs to go, their homemade French fries, and their sausage sandwiches. That's all he's got. He's open like 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., something like that, and not open Sundays. And the guy makes a fortune when he wants to. He just puts a big sign up, "Gone fishing." So some people just know how to make it work. Some people know how to make it work. I'm going to talk about Johnny Mathis in just a little bit. Um, but I understand, Richard, it's a real drag to go out that far and then you can't get in. So there are ways to do a temporary patch, but you know, I mean, I haven't really mentioned renting a closed department store while you work on the big sanctuary. But they put a lot of work, and we've got new pictures. I'm going to try to show them now because it never seems to work. But having said that, let me just go to So I did hear from Gregory. We'll be talking to him and trying to set up a pre-recorded interview. I know some of you feel he shouldn't have went to the house. Some of you say it's not real, the whole thing and all that. There's always people that say that, and hey, you could be right sometimes. I'm not saying you're right this time, but you just never know. Let's see here. Go down a little bit. I am on tonight. Yes, I am. So let me just say, most Saturday nights, but sometimes we do Sundays. The last weekend of this month will be a Sunday night at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. I'm answering a question in an email in real time. So, I'm very appreciative of those who send me various pictures and okay. Can't find what I'm looking for. Yeah, okay. Here it is. It's going to take a picture I should have taken before. I didn't take it because I figured anytime I try, well, not anytime, sometimes it works. Sometimes, all right. Hope this won't be a disaster. Back to the live stream. Looking very nice. Main sanctuary, the altar for the new Household of Faith Church. Let's see if we can get this. Here it is. That's what the altar looks at this point. And you can see they're working hard. They've done so much. So there's obviously a number of people working on this, including Pastor Bob himself. I have another shot of him on the ladder, but that is proof that they are coming along quite nicely with the new sanctuary. So there you go. Is Carolyn here? Hello, Carolyn, if you are. Richard didn't tell us about his health update or whatever else is going on in West Palm Beach. Mila is here. Sheedy. I think we've had a Sheedy before, but maybe not. Mila, that's a nice name. Who is the picture that's taped on the... There we are. Oh, boy. This is the new thing where we crash for just a second, but we hold. We're able to quickly restore. This is a brand new experience because in the past when we've crashed, sometimes our live was frozen and I had a hard time pulling the frozen live down and starting a new stream. And I can't start a new stream till I get the old stream down. And it's, it can take 45 minutes sometimes, but we seem to be holding the audience at 122. As I was saying, I was talking to Mila. We find you again, Mila. Who is the picture that's taped on the front of your microphone? That is the lady in my life who I've known since 1965. That's Karen. And I've been married twice, and now, well, Karen is the fourth relationship that I've ever had in my life. I like to say I began with a Karen, and I end with a Karen. And she is, of course, of Irish descent. And we're going into year 15 right now. So where are you from, Mila? Tell me a little bit about yourself if you can. Where you're watching from? Anything else you want to throw in? Overbuilt Automotive is here. He's got too much under the hood. I'm going to talk about Johnny Mathis next, and we can go back to Pastor Bob. This is Worldwide Ramblings is the name of the show. We do it Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock, most Saturday nights at 10 o'clock. But if I can't do Saturday, I usually am able to do Sunday at 9 p.m. East Coast time. And we will do that on the last Sunday of the month, which will be April 27th. April 27th, it'll be a Sunday night show at 9 p.m. This is all East Coast time, United States of America. It's much earlier if you're watching in California. 10 p.m. here is 7 p.m. there. So, EBG, are you talking to me or somebody else? I have to decipher that too. I'm not defensive, but that is Bob all day long. That's him. And if you knew what I know, you would not be saying what you are saying. Okay, well. I'll say this much. This guy here, Robert Wayne Joyce, did not morph into the man that preaches every Sunday. He did not morph into that man, in my humble opinion. That's Robert Wayne Joyce, who married Walina Hattie in 1975 in Texas. He'd be about 73 years old. I hope he's still with us. There are people that tell me he's not. There are people that tell me he's not. And I hope that that is wrong. Sabrina Joyce, McDonald Joyce, there's another name in there. She's a wonderful talent. She writes books. Sabrina Joyce McDonald. She writes books. She sings beautifully. She's got a song that's like a tribute to someone who's in heaven that was released. It's a Christmas song. Perhaps you can still find it here on YouTube. Very beautiful. And I don't know who she's singing about, you know. There is Bob and Walina back in the younger days. Robert Wayne Joyce is the father of Matt Joyce and Sabrina Joyce. I always say, Tom, I have no idea. I've never even seen a picture of Tom. You're doing a good job being incognito. No one's ever sent me a picture of Tom either. Maybe they will now. The pictures I just showed have nothing to do with Sabrina's wedding. That happened later. And I've got that picture too, but I don't have it ready to show on a moment's notice. I guess I just have to have an Elvis file. And, it's not a bad idea, actually. And keep it. But wait a minute. I can bring up what that guy looked like. I've got too many photos, thousands, I think, at this point. Yeah. Oh, okay. It's right in front of me. It's right in front of me. The guy at the wedding. Here's a picture of young Robert Wayne Joyce, who was in the, I think, the Army as well. Here he is. And there is who I think is Robert Wayne Joyce. The wild thing is that as he got older, Robert Wayne Joyce did look more like Elvis, but the eyes tell the story. The eyes tell the story. Same man? I don't believe so. I don't believe it's the same man. Oh, boy. This man is not this man. And that man there is not the guy in the apartment or in the house, as far as I can tell. Just doesn't work this way. Does this man here look 90 years old, that he could be potentially 90? I think not. I think, I think this man, yes, but the guy in the house, no. And it's so funny that I said that these were the same photo, just on either side of Elvis Presley in the middle there. And I realized that that's not true. The beard is much different in the other photo. Obviously, this patch of black here is not natural. You use hair dye to make a distinctive look. You know, you put a little patch of black there. It kind of looks cool. I get that, but that wouldn't just be that way naturally. So there you go. The man at the bottom is not Bob. The bottom. It's hard to do this in real time. Please email me and give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear them, EBG. jackthefairguy@gmail.com. jackthefairguy@gmail.com. I can spot an Elvis protector and someone who's sincerely telling me the truth a mile away once I talk to them for a while. Because, it's so easy to say stuff, but I realize there are people that really do have correct information. But then do they want to share it? Sometimes they want to share it, but they don't want me to say it. That's cool too. But I can't say that I can totally get it out of my DNA when I make future comments. You know what I mean? If I think it's very pertinent to the story. I messed that up. All right. 122 watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. We're trying to get to $10,000. $10,000. That would be wonderful. That would really help me, folks. 10,000 subscribers on tonight's live stream. So please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It'll help me get to more people once we hit 10,000, okay? More people will see this. More people will know of its existence. So I would love to talk to you more about that, EBG. I would. So let me ask Jack, why would he come back as Bob when people would recognize his face and voice, but say and do body movements like Elvis? I would want to stay gone if I did this. Peace and love. Well, it's like now I've got to recite the whole verdict video to you, which was over an hour, I think, or at least an hour, Jeffrey. It's very complicated. I can't just in 3 minutes bring it down to a capsulized version. Let me have a swig of water here. Why couldn't I have covered JFK Jr.? There's maybe three things you could point to, and that's all you got. Somebody showed what I think is a very good CGI version of Caroline Kennedy as she would look today, But I'm not ruling that one out. Then there's MJ and Jim Morrison. That just made a reappearance with a supposed maintenance worker in Syracuse was Jim Morrison. And the maintenance worker did an interview and said, "I'm not Jim Morrison." Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'd have to start with way back in '77, the reasons that Elvis wanted to fake his death. But I know you're more focused on why would he come back. So, all right, we'll leave the 77 stuff and all the things we've covered. You'll find it in the verdict and in the top 50 reasons why Bob Joyce may be Elvis, and other videos here too. We've got over 360, and about 85% of them are on that topic because that's what the people want. I can do other topics. I'm going to do a Johnny Mathis roll-in video because we just saw him, and it'll get what it gets. The bulk of the Johnny Mathis audience will never know I did it. They'll never know I did it. So it took Elvis a while to I think to get a firm footing in what he believed. Obviously, he was influenced by Larry Geller, who was talking about Hinduism and New Age philosophy and what have you. And Elvis studied many different philosophies. So I think when he recorded his early gospel albums, he had been very influenced by what he saw in the Black Pentecostal church, and it affected his music. And so he had a reverence for Jesus and wanted to sing about Jesus. But I don't think he had received Jesus into his heart at that early time when he recorded his first gospel album, because if he had, he would have never been looking into Hinduism. Once who was dabbling in that kind of stuff, Hinduism, once I accepted Jesus Christ as my personal Lord and Savior in '84, I knew that I was done with reading Ram Dass books and Yogananda and going to ashrams and what have you. I knew that there was a vast difference in what the gospel of Jesus Christ is all about and what I would call man-made philosophy. Man-made philosophy. Just going to look here. Anything new in the text? Okay. So at some point, he accepted Jesus Christ as his personal Lord and Savior. He went from being just marked for Christ, because I think he was marked for Christ. That's a whole other topic for a better preacher than I am. I'm just someone who shares. And he accepted Christ as his Lord and Savior, and the Holy Spirit began to deal with him. He had a passion to preach the gospel. He had a passion to preach the gospel. He wanted to be a small town preacher, yes, but he wanted the world to hear his message. And that's where YouTube came in. So he told Spa Guy, when Spa Guy confronted him, supposedly at his house as well, holding the camera down, and said, "You're not Elvis Presley, right?" And he said, no. And we couldn't see his face, unfortunately. But he wasn't going to violate Pastor Bob's privacy, asking him a question like that. And I think he woke him up from a nap. Us older people take naps, right? So we heard Bob. It sounded like once he said, no, I'm not. There was a pause, and then he felt he had to say more. He said, The Lord gave me dreams to reach the world, to reach the world. So he was telling him why he was doing what he was doing. Although he loves being a small town pastor who seems to have visitors from all over the world, um, he wanted his message to be heard, um, to reach the world, and he does that through YouTube. He does that through YouTube. Um, he also, there's a side of him that just loves it. He he can't help drop hints himself. He can't help say things. He called himself Elvis in a sermon. But yet I am well aware of the denial he did. We've talked about that. I can't go through all that now. I think it was a very qualified denial where he could have made it much more plain when they were in the strip mall. So uh, if it was really important to him to make it clear, he could put it in such a way that you would know that there's no way he could be Elvis Presley. But he hasn't done that, and he has said so many things that we have covered. When you talk about so-called coincidences, everything that it appears Bob Joyce has appeared at places that a Benton, Arkansas pastor would never appear. Not just Mar-a-Lago, but George Klein's funeral. George Klein being the Memphis disc jockey that was known as the best friend of Elvis. And that Priscilla Presley would be sitting in the row behind the man we think is Bob Joyce and Matt Joyce. And after she was called up to speak by the rabbi, she touched the shoulder of the man we think is Bob Joyce at that funeral. That's an incredible thing. 2, 3, 4 days after the tragic death of Lisa Marie Presley, for Pastor Bob to sing opposite the public memorial, the song that Lisa Marie used as a tribute to her father, "No One Stands Alone," giving it everything he had, all emotion there, to sing that song out of millions of songs that he could have sung. He sings a non-praise song in a praise service, which is the very song that Lisa Marie did a tribute video, a duet with her father, Elvis Presley, to sing that song on that Sunday. That is, the odds are like winning Powerball almost. The odds are like you've won Powerball. And then people then a source sent me the funeral card for the private memorial, the private funeral, I should say, for the following Saturday. And his name is all over that funeral card. I realize that can be faked. I realize it can. But my goodness, when you get up to like 80 coincidences, EBG, is that your initials? When you get to that many, when there's enough smoke to fill an entire state, you have to say there could be some validity to this story. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. So, okay, see, if you would have told me this in an email, we wouldn't have had any misunderstanding. So I hope you will email me. I'm telling you, that's Bob at his house. And yes, he was once EP. For that to be EP at the house, he would have had to have major plastic surgery, not a facelift. But why, EBG, does he look significantly different than he does in the in the pulpit? And he looks much more like Elvis when we see him preach in the pulpit than at the house. But his mannerisms from him talking is Pastor Bob. You people have never been around him like I have. well, you have this little attitude that you have, you people have never been around him like I have. Um, we are dealing with a very complicated story here, and people have been to the church like you have, and they've told me things like Pastor Bob preached in the morning, and in the afternoon it was the other man who came to the luncheon, and then they were totally shocked. Okay, someone goes to the church, very reliable source. They go into the foyer. This happened not that many months ago. And there, uh, in the foyer of the church, is a man who looks like he would be, um, I guess, the younger brother of Pastor Bob Joyce. He gives them a quick smile, but he just wants to get out of there and leaves. And then a moment or two later, through a different door, they see Pastor Bob Joyce. So there are these kind of stories, and they're just wild. They're wild. So, but it's interesting that you do feel that he is Elvis. But in terms of what we do here, I speak of possibilities, and I could be wrong. And we never know who we're talking to here. We never know who we're talking to. So this is just a friendly group of people, EBG. So it's not. I don't think people are your enemy here. You can become an enemy. That we have that happen. I hope you don't go into that category. You don't seem so far. You don't seem like you've got that kind of spirit. Some of the people that don't like this channel got blocked because everybody wanted them blocked, and so they're mad at me. But there's YouTube guidelines, and there's I don't mind that there are people that I believe are Elvis protectors that have a mission. But once it becomes an every week thing and what have you, or in one particular live stream, they're arguing with everybody and what have you, that's not where we want to be. That's not the spirit, certainly not the spirit of Christ, to be arguing with everybody. So if you've got things you want to say, just say them in a respectful manner. Miss Carter, I would love to hear Gene Host's thoughts of strangers trolling and knocking on Pastor Bob's private residence. Yeah. My mic was lower than usual. Did I sound low? It's at its normal range now. I don't know how it got down that low. Stay away from pharma and you can live long. Diet and prayer. That's right. Never have another jelly donut. Never have another piece of pizza. Never have anything too tasty. I've got people that come on here and say carnivore diet, carnivore diet, carnivore diet, carnivore diet. I have, I say if you go your whole life and don't have some tasty baked goods and Italian food and Chinese food and what have you, you're missing out. But everything in moderation, and yes, have your fish, have your vegetables, and what have you. Everybody's kind of got a different angle. I'm 63 and blown away, says Jeffrey. About what, Jeffrey? Tell me, because when we're live, it's hard to discern sometimes, Different things are coming at me from all ways. Angela, yes. Mafia man still at the church. The official Myers Productions. Here comes Aiden. I saw a picture of you, Aiden, at Graceland. Do you mind if we, in a future pre-recorded broadcast, show your pictures from Graceland? Would that be okay? Let me know about that. You're a good-looking chap there, so you might find you might find somebody here trying to get their granddaughter to date you. I don't know. Look at Bob's face. Like EP, the left eye is closer to the nose than his right eye. His left nostril is larger, and His left cheek is fuller than the right cheek. Can no one see this? There's that attitude again. I've never specialized in the veins and the scars, and the eyes are too close, as some people say, or the nose is not right and what have you. It's never been my thing. Everybody has a specialty. If you have a problem with your foot, you don't go to a cardiologist. So when I came on here in 2018, well, 2016, but I didn't discover Bob Joyce to 2018. I realized at the time there was a guy named JJB. Do you know him? I think he's on TikTok still. And I don't know about Facebook. JJB, we became kind of buddies for a while, and we talked, and then we kind of had a falling out. Unfortunately, I was sorry to see that happen. He wanted me to tell him a source that I felt that I couldn't. I couldn't do that, so I should have never mentioned it at all. My intention was just to ask him if this is true, and then he wanted to know who said it, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I thought I would be violating someone who was telling me that in confidence, but I wanted to see if this was true or not. So anyway, we haven't talked since. He said then goodbye, and that was the end of that. But he was doing that and showing all the pictures. I'm the chronological storyteller. I don't do a lot of that. So I'm not the guy that rolls. When I roll something in, it's because I know I must. I have to get Andy up here, my tech guy, and what have you. I'm the guy I'm different than someone who puts up somebody else's little 30-second or 40-second, 50-second work by the same voice you hear doing everything under the sun, and then I put my name on it. I don't do that. I don't put up a lot of church video. If it's pertinent to the story, then I use a fair use excerpt. So, I don't think people are really fighting with you. So, there's a whole lot of things you got to look at, and it can't just be the physical characteristics. There's a whole lot of things in this story, a whole lot of components. So if you specialize in one area and forget the others, and like when I did a video saying, could he be the love child son of Elvis Presley? Because I think Elvis does have some love children out there. Right away, the veins and the scars people said, no, look, he can't be. So, what have you. It is just weird that at the house he looks different than he looks in the pulpit. A lot of people commented on that. That's what makes this story so unique. It's unique, I tell you. Richard, did you leave already? 121 watching. Nobody told me about, did you subscribe if you haven't already? I would appreciate it if you would. Please hit the notification bell. Please hit the thanks button if you can. We have a budget that is very meager, and I need to make that. Any amount is fine. $2, $3, $5 or less. Okay. My Cash App for about 5% of my audience, 7% of my audience use that from time to time, and they are very important to me, obviously. And the Cash App is lowercase letters, Media Guy 56, Media Guy 56. Jody says, I'm in the middle of a conversation. Look at Bob's face. Okay, so we read that already. All right. So hi, Aiden. How you doing? I think I'm going to talk to your dad this week, and you'll certainly be welcome to pop on as well. We haven't set a time in a pre-recorded video. I wish I could do Zoom. I've got to get that together. I need my own younger tech guy to come here and help me with that. I don't know if your father does Zoom, but it would be that would be the ultimate way to do it. When I did the Gene Ho interview, we used his technology, and we'll probably do that this year as we get ready to do a heavy promotion of the George Magazine live event, which is April 15th, 16th, and 17th in Hot Springs, Arkansas at the Bank OZK Arena. On Sunday, the 17th, Pastor Bob Joyce will bring the Household of Faith service to the OZK Arena. Um, they won't have as many seats in that arena as if it was a basketball game. They do something different. I would think they would have more seats when they don't have a basketball court. That's how I would figure it. If you're going to put seats where the basketball players would be, folding chairs or whatever. So it's a mystery to me. I think there's going to be certainly over 3,000 seats, but there are going to be buses. There's going to be everyone who goes to the George Magazine event on Saturday, or the whole thing, which is a Friday night VIP dinner and other special things when you're VIP, including Saturday night. There's the after party, which will have a concert from an American Idol performer, and there'll be a dinner and et cetera, and meet and greet and all that. That's the for the VIP people. They will get to go to the Pastor Bob Joyce service. They'll get in first, both the VIPs and then the people that buy Saturday tickets. Probably on Wednesday, we'll start talking about the lineup, because I know they're still working on that lineup, and we'll talk about who's going to be there. But the Sunday service is free, But and I think you should have no problem with a seat. But just remember, the VIPs will get in before you do. Those who buy just a Saturday ticket will get in before you do. Buses will be coming, and so they'll be in the mix as well. So don't stroll to the arena at 9:40 and be surprised if they told you it's sold out. I don't think so. He pretty much filled 1,000 seats at the Horner Hall Theater in Hot Springs at the first George Magazine live event last year. So it's only getting bigger, because this is a phenomenon. Hey, Greg Atkins. Hello. Welcome to you. I'm glad you're here. Please hit that subscribe button. Let me know, folks, if we hit 10,000. Let me know. I'd love to do it in a live stream. Hello, Jack and everyone. Sorry coming in late. Yeah, it's just fine. You can always watch the replay as well. Jeanette Berglund is here. She's talking to Robin. Did you say to Bob that you think he is Elvis? I don't think Robin would be that uncool. That's not something to say when you go to Household of Faith. It's just not. Tessie J says, I accept that he is who he is. Is he Elvis? I believe so. Is he a man of God? Absolutely. That's right. That's what's most important. And Katina joins us. My mom will be 85 soon. When I sent her a video of Bob singing and playing right away, she believed it was him. She told a few people in the family and friends. They don't believe it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're going to have the don't believe it crowd, because it's just too much for them to fathom, And when you see the video at the house, you wouldn't want to use that video to say, see how much he looks like Elvis, because something was different. Something was off from what we see in the church. That's what makes this story so amazing. The main issue with most folks, says Ted Richards, is refusing to believe that Elvis could now be Pastor Bob. They believe Elvis died 8/16/77. How and where do you possibly begin to circumvent that? And I don't really have the desire to. We just, present the story, and the people decide for themselves. Chris says, my grandma said it was him as well. Lynn R. here. I often call her Lynn Redgrave. Hi, everyone. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. See, Lynn Redgrave faked her death, and she's right here. I'm just kidding. Donna says, I truly believe that I finally met Elvis at his church last June. And Robin answers that question. No, Jeanette, she didn't say that. She didn't say, I think you are Elvis. But all day I made tons of implications, to which he smiled, winked, and nodded in affirmation. We danced around everything all day without saying Elvis. You had all day? What funeral was televised and elaborate? If you're talking about the public memorial, um, well, we definitely know Bob Joyce didn't attend that. He preached opposite it uh, in Benton. The church made a big deal to promo that Pastor Bob is going to be here this Sunday. So then he sings No One Stands Alone. And many people feel that when he pulled the mic away from himself, he uttered, I love you, Yisa. Yisa was the nickname for Lisa Marie Presley that Elvis often used. If he was upset with her, he would say, Lisa Marie. Michael Tuza, Jack, you have a great show. Really? It seems like there was a famous disc jockey in New York. Thank you, Georgia Peach. Yes, it helps me so much when people hit the thanks button. Thank you for hitting the thanks button for $10. I'd be also thrilled with $2 or $3 if that's all you can afford, or $1. Oh, you're talking about the Elvis Presley funeral was televised and elaborate. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. No American flag on the coffin. Thank you, Georgia. Barbara Kendall says, good night, Jack. We didn't really get to chat. I'm sorry. You have a great weekend. I hope we get to say more. Thank you for stopping by, Jack. And if he was to come out and say tomorrow, which he won't, but if he did, you would have people who still wouldn't believe it. They would say it's pure betrayal. Yeah, no, there's no way to win that. And then he couldn't preach in Benton, Arkansas anymore, obviously. He loves being a small town pastor who reaches a worldwide audience on YouTube. And he is cognizant of the fact that the church needs to be much bigger than it is now. So if he should have ever been the king of rock and roll, he's got to be cognizant of time. If he were 73 years old, if he were Robert Wayne Joyce and he was 73 years old, then not so much of a hurry. You're in pretty good shape and what have you. But if you're 90, you can't spend 2.5 years building the bigger church. You just can't. Not even a year, really, if you can help it, because the problem will not have been solved. It's a good problem to have. People want to come. And for whatever reason they come, it does give the Holy Spirit an opportunity to reach them. Let's face it. I've said this before. In the whole Christian church, there's only a certain percentage of people that are really super serious about their faith. Most will die never knowing the inner courts of the Lord. They will never certainly die being have reached the goal of presenting their whole body as a living sacrifice for God. The great pastor that I had, Pastor John Torres, has said, we are people that live lives of contradiction. We so want to please God and live that holy life, and we want to have the carnal life as well. We want to have both. That's who many Christians are. Men understand that more than women, I would say, because we're built differently and what have you. But there are plenty of women that, and sin is sin. Okay, you don't have the struggle of, saying, committing adultery or something like that, but you have a different struggle. You have different other ways you sin. And so we're all sinners in need of a savior. I haven't talked about Johnny Mathis yet. And look, see, this is how fast it goes. We're 1 hour and almost 25 minutes in, and I have not talked about Johnny Mathis. Jack, I think he is cognizant. I believe he's just waiting until America is more stable, if you know what I mean. Well, as I say, I don't think he wants to have to deal with thongs of people coming and bringing their Elvis merchandise and things like that. And, um, you know, it's going to be a circus. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want to be getting calls. Can you come to Madison Square Garden and do a service? Jack, I think, okay. Kitty, hi. Amen, Mr. Jack. Hello. Thank you, Kitty. Something I said you agreed with. Jack, why no flag on the coffin after he was so proud to have served in the military? There's just too much smoke. Again, exactly. There was no flag on the coffin because he wasn't in that coffin. As we presented our news story, let me go to my video list, and then I'm going to say a few things about Johnny Mathis, but it is so clear that when I put up that Johnny Mathis video, only a few people will like it. But anyway, thank you, Georgia Peach, for $10 on the thanks button. And thank you, Sammy, for hitting the thanks button as well. And Teresa Pano, I almost missed it, $1.99. She frequently hits the thanks button and has hit the Cash App as well. Cash App is lowercase letters, Media Guy 56, Media Guy 56. If you can help me out there, I'd really appreciate it. That's right. No baptisms, EBG. Could you imagine how many they would throw at them this year? In terms of an altar call, there has to be other people. See, people are going to feel an altar call is the time to have their Elvis moment. That's how they're going to feel. So it's impossible if you have thousands of people. And altar calls are just that. It's a serious time for someone that's coming forth either to renew their faith in Christ, to have the pastor pray with them over a struggle. Obviously you need a full team of elders up there and what have you, blood bought people, and he can't be like, I know in the Catholic Church, because I was raised Catholic, when it comes communion time, people don't want to receive from anyone other than the the priest who preached the service. Unless it's the Monsignor or whatever, they don't like receiving from female Eucharistic ministers. I've seen that, but they're under the authority and leadership of the Monsignor or of the pastor of the church. If he didn't make Monsignor status, he's still the pastor of the church. So I don't see anything wrong with that at all. I don't see anything wrong with that at all. And I have received communion from a Eucharistic minister of the female persuasion. And I'm very comfortable in the Protestant church because I know you must be born again, and Catholics don't always get that. So, but I've seen many born again Catholics. I disagree with a lot of the Catholic doctrine, and I agree with some of it. So I can get darts thrown at me from all sides. So thank you. Let me get down to the bottom here. Tammy Tessie J says, I guess I'm trying to understand why it's so vitally important for the truth to come out. For me, the truth is what he is presenting, and the reasons are really none of my business. And she directs that to Ted Richards. Yeah, well, people have curiosity, that's in our human flesh DNA. And there are people that say, well, it's just wrong for him to deny it. Do a better denial, do a more clear denial. If you were never Elvis Presley, they're going to notice what they're going to notice. Oh, there's my other pictures. Yeah. cover up some of my pictures. On the other side, we've got Elvis with Pink Cadillac. We've got Alexandra Molka, who played Victoria Winters on Dark Shadows. We've got Elvis with, some people think that's a young Wallina right there. Somebody else. Shelley from Australia gave us our signature logo, and we thank her for that. Karen's mom and dad. This was their bedroom at one time. Karen at the Dark Shadows convention in Tarrytown with me last October, and the cover of George magazine that has Pastor Bob Joyce on it with a guitar that looks like the guitar from Blue Hawaii, the movie Blue Hawaii. Who starred in that movie with Anne Margaret? I forget. Jeffrey, I understand people vanish every day for their own reasons, but we never hear everyone coming back as someone else, or maybe you meant to say anyone coming back as someone else in public for everyone to say, I know that guy. I like that. I like the way you put that. Yeah, I know. This is a crazy story. I said that in 2018, and I realized that there is such an appetite for it. And it never seems to go away. And it is the gift that keeps on giving. Jack, 10,000 subscribers. Oh, praise Jesus. Here we are. I started this channel in December of 2015. And now I can thank you, all of you who have subscribed, for finally we have reached 10,000 subscribers. A number of months back, when there was a new kid in town, and I had more subscribers than him, and this guy was putting up like 2-3 videos a day, taking other people's work and putting it up, putting his name on it, what have you. And he had really good tech skills. I said, well, he's going to overtake me. And he did, he did. But that's okay. That's fine. I know that there are people that have 250,000 subscribers, 500,000 and what have you, and get higher views than I'm ever going to get. But we have something that some of them don't have. We have a real family here. That's why they don't do much on-camera work, because, they didn't do 40 years of radio broadcasting. They don't have that gift. They have gifts like maybe they're a gifted musician. And certainly when we talk about one of the Elvis programmers, Matt Savina, he is a very gifted musician. You should listen to his stuff. Would he ever say, listen to my channel? But he does Christian music. He writes it, and he plays a great keyboard. And Elvis is his bread and butter topic, but he does less of it now because he announced to the audience that he has his cancer has returned, testicular cancer. I noticed that all the hair that he had, his facial hair, and his the hair on his head, which was, he didn't have a lot of it, but I noticed that's all gone right now. He still looks fairly strong, and so please keep him in prayer. Keep him in prayer for total healing from that cancer. As we pray for Christari, I don't think she's here tonight, but she has a very serious cancer. And pray for Deborah Lake, and pray for Brenda Noyce, who has many health issues. So many of us do, right? Please pray for Karen, my partner, who just got her MRI, and we'll see what's going to come from that. She may need new surgery, so I can't predict what I can do in August and what I can't. I know that the budget is very small. So when you guys are blessing me with hitting the thanks button or the Cash App, it really helps me. There's a certain amount I need every month. And what happened, as I've said before, is that my income got smaller when one of my guaranteed incomes was, it just, without going into detail, it just, I lost a portion of that income. by someone who was entitled to it. It was in the papers. It was written in the papers. So, um, I worked for over 50 years, often working two jobs. I worked 19 years as a peace officer for the city of New York. I did radio on the side during 11 of those 19 years. I did all the overtime that was offered to me, most times over 300 hours a year, because I knew I had two children and a wife, and I didn't want to pressure my wife to go to work and have somebody else have to raise our kids. So until they went into school, she didn't work at all, and even then, she just worked part time. So you know, every month I'm kind of fighting to get to a minimum level, and there have been some really wonderful people here in this family, because we have more than just putting up pre-recorded videos or 30 to 60-second quickies called shorts on YouTube. Um, we have more than that. We have a real family here, and I really appreciate those who help me. Jody Smith has done that many times. Thank you for that. Hitting the thanks button for $1. And then Not Large Marge congratulating me on 10,000 views. It's all you guys that did that. 10,000 subscribers, I should say. And so she hits the thanks button for $10. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. Jack Jorgen says, congratulations on reaching 10,000 subscribers. It's been a long road. Teresa Williams is here. Congratulations. Thank you so, so much. Yeah, I'm not even going to count now, Neil, because it's too stressful. If it goes up to a significant number, I'll mention it. Mila Sheedy, congratulations, Jack, and you're new to the fray, right? You're kind of new. I love that name, Mila. It's very pretty, very pretty. Sue A, I follow Matt. Yeah, well, I realize that there are other people that view other subscribers, that creators, I should say. I got subscribers on the brain right now, but yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. I understand that. Thank you, Jeffrey. I blog, therefore I am. Hi, welcome to you. We have 110 watching right now. Congratulations, Jack. Thank you. You have one much sub now. What does that mean, Tammy? um, there's some comments coming that I would have said if I were back being a radio disc jockey as we talk about subs. And I'm not talking about Jersey Mike's, folks. Love my Jersey Mike's, though. If you don't have hard rolls where you live, the closest thing you're going to get is Jersey Mike's. Jersey Mike's is good, but I try not to eat too much of those cold cuts, I don't know if you're trying to use Cash App, Sue A, or if you're using the thanks button. You have to use a credit card with the thanks button. So I don't know. Maybe someone else that uses. Are you talking Cash App, which of course you have to load? You have to go to the App Store. If you don't have it already, you got to go to the App Store. You got to link your checking account with a routing number and all that. I've been using it for years. I use it to pay a couple of bills, and I obviously receive some tips. I get more of it when you hit Cash App, but I'm very thankful for Google, YouTube for allowing me to have the thanks button. They do take a portion. That's the way that works. And but I'm still very grateful because it makes my total go up, and I meet that monthly minimum goal at least. I mean, in the summer we were doing really well. Now, not quite as well, but there are certain people on the Cash App that help me out, and I'm very happy for them. But the Cash App is Media Guy, lowercase letters, Media Guy 56. Let's see here. And And there's June Joyner on the Cash App. June Joyner, she has done this before. Thank you so much, June. I appreciate that. You were sent $20 by June Joyner on the Cash App. And I appreciate that so much. We're hearing from a lot of people, and I will try to I always try to respond. I think I responded to most of the people in the hot video that we have up right now. Thank you, June Joyner. Appreciate that so much. Media Guy 56 on the Cash App, lowercase letters. Let's see. Yeah, like on the Wild Bob Joyce video, which has 2 roll-in videos in it. 354 comments right now. Thank you, Teresa Panel, for hitting on the on that video $1.99 on the Cash App, and thank you, Sam Semi, $2.79 on that video, which is called "Shocking." I mean, wild new Bob Joyce video. Wild new Bob Joyce video. 354 comments. Sometimes I sit down here at 12:30 in the morning, and it takes me a while because I usually do it here in the studio, But we heard from so many people, including Gary with 2 R's, Jules, the Irish Hammer. The Irish Hammer. We heard from Aiden Pritchard in that video. He says, I'm the son of Gregory Pritchard, the person that got the video. If you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer them. Yeah, so feel free. I don't know if you're still here, Aiden. Feel free to pop on too as well. And my best advice when going to the church is just be cool. Be cool. Darren Bestable is here. I remember you. Hi, Jack. I knew back when I first came across you on here that you must have had experience in radio. It's all in the voice. It's 10 o'clock at The Rock. WKGL-FM, Middletown, New York. I'm Jack Willard here with you. Oh, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and they're working hard over at ShopRite. I know what you want to hear. Oh, we get a lot of requests for that. A little dose of Skinnerd. It's the free bird on 92 Rock 7. I miss those days. Mikhail Gorbachev. Hello, Michael G. Jack, I thought you weren't going to be on this Saturday. Oh, no. I know it gets a little confusing. It's the 1st and the 4th weekends that we will be on Sunday. So next week will be the Saturday the 19th, and we'll be on. That's the plan. Things can happen. Oh my goodness. That can happen. The 19th, Saturday the 19th, but then the following weekend, I'll be on Sunday from 9 p.m. on East Coast time, US of A. There'll be no show on Saturday the 26th, okay? Wow, Ted Richards, thank you. Congratulations on 10,000 subscribers. It only took me 10 years, right? Will be 10 years this December. Jack, you are among YouTubers' best and hands down the best family found anywhere. Isn't that nice? I never had this kind of reaction in radio. I had people when they would see me somewhere. Occasionally we would broadcast live. They tell me how much they like my voice, or they'd say that on the request line, like your show, like what you do, like the music you play, et cetera, et cetera. But, this is a whole different late in my life, in the 4th quarter of my broadcast career, which is now on YouTube, to have this kind of small but enthusiastic fan base is a first for me, and I very much appreciate you. So thank you, Ted Richards, for $10. Then we have MJ Las Vegas. Well, there's a picture of you. I can sort of see you. $50. Congrats, Jack, on that 10K. Great job. Well, thank you, MJ. I'd love it if in an email you tell me about yourself. Um, you tell me about Las Vegas. Do you know my friend Mike Candido? If you ever hear, if you're in Vegas and you hear that the Night Kings are going to perform, Mike is one of the doo-wop singers in that group. But he also has a jazz. He lives in Las Vegas. He has a jazz group, and I can't remember their name. Mike, if you're on here, I got a picture of you on my wall. Mike is also the drummer for Gary Puckett in the Union Gap, ladies and gentlemen, coming to Schenectady in November. I'm going to try to make that show with the Buckinghams, the Circle. Now, with the Buckinghams, it is the lead voice, and Gary is obviously the lead voice. The Circle, I have no idea. And then there's one more that I'm forgetting about at the moment. Oh, the Love and Spoonful, but I don't know that it's John Sebastian. I think they would highlight that. So, yeah, I don't know. So thank you very much, MJ Las Vegas, for $50 on the thanks button. That helps me so much. And I'd love to hear from you so I know a little bit about what you do in Las Vegas. Jack the Fair Guy, F-A-I-R, Jack the Fair Guy at gmail.com. Thank you, MJ. And then there's Mila. She's new, Mila Sheedy. I think we had another Sheedy, didn't we? Did we have Sheila Sheedy? That would be cool. $9.99 on the thanks button. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mila, Ted, MJ, Sammy hitting it again, and then not Large Marge. We say that because Large Marge was in the Pee Wee Herman movie. Katina reminded me of that. Jody Smith, who's hit the button so many times. Thank you very much, Jody Smith. She's a hardworking woman. Georgia Peach. Oh, Georgia. Got Georgia on my mind. I bet she makes a heck of a cobbler down there in Georgia. Teresa Panel. Frequently, sometimes and even in a pre-recorded video. $1.99 there. And we had a Sammy, I know, in the beginning. Oh, here's someone I missed. You always miss a few, and I hate that. Jed Dubé, are you still here, Jed? Jed Dubé. Sorry I didn't acknowledge you before. Yeah, it's hard, EBG. That's not directed to you, Jack. Yeah, it's hard for me to know as it comes so fast sometimes. So I'm not, you seem cool. So far, I'm thinking you're cool. Jody, just chill out. What's that about? Yeah, there is a lot of anger, Jackie Organ, on various pages. We don't want that here. We had a few people that were with us for a long time and never told us that they definitely, or did not believe Bob was Elvis. And when they finally started to talk about it, okay, well, this is how you feel. But then they were on a mission to correct everybody, and that just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I don't go on someone else's group. I would never think of going on someone who has a Bob is not Elvis group and try to talk them out of it and talk some sense into them. It's up to them what they believe. Jane Justice hits the thanks button for $5. My goodness, Jane, you've hit that before. Thank you so much. Thank you. I got to talk about Johnny Mathis a little bit, right? I'm going to do a separate video, though, and I don't know if it'll reach the Johnny Mathis audience, but I have a feeling there are some people here that like Johnny Mathis. So I want to do that before we leave tonight. Look at that. I blog, therefore I am. Hits the thanks button for $4.99. Thank you, I blog, therefore I am. Thank you very, very much. Keep it coming if you haven't, if you feel so led, because it just helps us. It's less stress that I have to worry. What we're doing is working on May 21st right now. As long as that doesn't fall on a Saturday or Sunday, and I don't think it does next month. Otherwise, it gets pushed back a little bit. But that helps me out, meet my obligations and what have you, and not have to to worry, you know. So there you go. Johnny Mathis. It was an impromptu decision that I didn't even consult Karen on. So fortunately, she extended grace to me and said, "Well, I'll go because you want to go," you know. And once she got there, of course, she loved it. Um, we um, we headed out on Thursday morning at about 11 o'clock to Ship Shippens Shippensburg, PA, which is about 3.5 hours from where we are here in the Hudson Valley. And we were staying at a Best Western. Um, and we had a room that had just been remodeled. The second floor was all done, but the first floor wasn't. So, you know, there are persnickety people that come and they see that there's some disarray here because the construction workers are working on the bottom floor. And um, but we didn't care. We had a room that maybe no one had slept in yet. It was a new room, and they had a very nice breakfast buffet the next morning. We had to kind of go around a different way to get there because the workers were eating when we got in there, but they were finishing up, and we had great scrambled eggs and bacon cooked just right. I don't like my bacon too crispy. I like it, uh, you know, kind of flexible bacon. That's what you need in this world. And we had that. I had a little raisin bran and tea and cranberry juice, etc. It was wonderful, and I tipped them because that's what you do, you know. Um, there were two lovely ladies working there, both probably in their 60s, I guess. I don't know, and they were very nice, and it was a very nice breakfast area. So the fact that doors were literally off their hinges and things like that didn't bother us. But when Karen went to the desk after we checked in to ask for explanation on how to get the TV to work, it was a big TV. She had to wait quite a while because these people were checking out in a huff, you know, because they don't tell you on the website or whatever that they're remodeling. But it was a Indian gentleman. I think he was a new owner, young guy, very nice. And I thanked him when we left and what have you. And I'm going to remember to do a Yelp review because I know that people write negative stuff, you know. So we got there, and I was tired from driving, had not slept that much at night. And I took a little nap, and then Karen didn't. And then we quickly got ready and we drove. We got down to where the concert was to begin at 8 o'clock, but we get there at 6:25. They told us there was it's a university. It's a college, and they told us that not far from where the concert hall uh, is uh, is the college restaurant, and they have like a little buffet style meal there and what have you. But we just thought, we better wait and eat afterwards because people were just filing in at 6:30, 6:35, and the parking spaces were filling fast. And we got a handicap spot because Karen has her issues and has a handicap sticker. And so we joined everybody in the lobby, and they opened the doors even before 7 o'clock. A beautiful theater there at the Shippensburg University. And so we had a while to the show. Johnny either started a few minutes early or right on time. I'm not sure. He came out wearing his white suit, and he, already an incredible orchestra has filed and are getting ready for him, filed out before him, of course. And, we had heard that he was going to be stopping. His last concert is May 18th at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. And 4 concerts left, and we got to see the first of the last 4. So we heard that he's having memory issues and what have you. So I was sure that there would be teleprompters uh, on that stage, but there weren't. There weren't. Um, he uh, he comes out to thunderous applause and what have you, and he kind of shuffles to the microphone, and he begins singing, and it's electric. I don't know how you can be 89 going on 90 and sound pretty much like you sounded in 1957. That is just a phenomenon. And he would show you during the concert that, yeah, the range was still there and there wasn't much change at all. There wasn't much change at all. His selections are beautiful. He's going to sprinkle all the hits in that you want him to sprinkle. He'll talk a little bit. Um, and it's when he talks that you might notice that he is looking for words and what have you. But when he sings these songs, and he has a few complicated, uh, um, not melodies, but I'm doing the same thing right now. Um, when you put three or four songs together, oh good, this is how it starts, folks. Um, he never muffed a lyric. He never forgot a lyric. He never had to think about what was next. I'm not sure if he glanced back to see what was next on the list. I didn't see that happening. Um, Now, what was so interesting is that what he's going to do is he's going to do his first set, and then Gary Mule Deer is going to come out and do a mix of comedy. He's got a guitar. He's going to sing. He's going to tell funny stories as he plays the guitar and what have you. And he was fantastic. I remember him in the 70s on the Mike Douglas show. I remember him as this oddball comedian then. And I forgot all about Gary Mule Deer. That's three words: Gary, M-U-L-E, Mule, and then D-E-E-R, separate word, Deer. Gary Mule Deer is his name. I hadn't heard that name in years. So all of a sudden, he's going to come out. So when it gets time, um, Johnny says he'll be back to sing more songs for us, but and then it's clear he can't remember the comedian's name. So he just kind of walks away, and then he comes back with a very silly giggle, and the conductor knows what's going on here, so he shouts the name Gary Mule Deer, and that's when Johnny finally says it, and Gary comes out there, and the thing that's interesting is Gary Mule Deer has been his mid-show act. Maybe in the beginning he used to do the open, but he for years now he's been in the middle of the show to give Johnny a much needed break, and he changes clothes during this. And but he forgot his name. He had no idea what his name was. So that was a evidence. But Johnny is still much very there, and you could tell of his love for golf. He talked about one of his guitarists that would be front and center with him for the second set, that he was a wonderful golfer, wonderful human being. So he was still quite cognizant, but he's very forgetful now. But not when it comes to singing those lyrics. He makes love to the lyric. When he sings the 12th of Never, it almost sounds like this is 1957, 58, 59, whatever that, whatever year that song was released. I guess it was a little later. First came It's Not For Me to Say, followed by Chances Are. And by the time Chances Are came out, it became such a mega hit around the world that now Johnny Mathis went from, as he said, I used to make no money at all in the 50s, and all of a sudden the doors started opening, and I was being invited to sing all around the world, even though in some places his skin color would be controversial. He would get death threats and what have you. When he started singing at his first big hotel in Las Vegas in the 50s, I guess, the headlining star was not allowed to stay at that hotel. He had to go to the black section of Las Vegas and stay at this rundown Apache motel where blacks were welcome. It was a black hotel. That's what it was like back then. Amazing. But he's not a bitter man. He's not a bitter man. He's a very happy man. Um, and it's clear that he loves his audience, which is like 98% white. Just is white and old, but there's that other smattering, and there's young people, music students, I'm sure, that want to come and see a true master. And he didn't disappoint. He gave it his best for two long sets with a break in the middle, comes back wearing a black tux in the second part of the show. And at the end says, I love you so much. And you know that you're never going to see him again. You're never going to see him again. So it was wonderful. And I'll show you that roll-in video as I see that white spotlight hits his face, and it's hard to see him, but you'll hear him sing Moon River when we do that, okay? So there you go. Yeah, there's a show in California and a show somewhere else. Go to johnnymathis.com, johnnymathis.com. I know that the New Jersey last show at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center is sold out. It took time, but it got there. Tim is going to be at Foxwoods Casino in Connecticut. I've been there to see Tom Jones and also the psychedelic furs that we love. Tom Jones was great as well. He sure was. So we are talking about Tom Jones. Okay. Well, the older you get, the more you start thinking about Jesus, and he has several very poignant songs. He's got a song, If I Give My Soul. I confess my sins to Jesus. If I give my soul, I'm trying to think of it. Look that song up on your favorite music service. And with my son, love me again. Because Tom Jones made a lot of mistakes, you know. When it comes to adultery, Tom Jones made an art of it. And sometimes it would hit the papers. One time he comes back as his wife, who he loved very much, never toured with him, I guess, especially as time went on, because he was touring so much. And his liaisons had been in the Inquirer and what have you. And he came back and she just laid into him, started punching him. And he says, I just stood there and took it. I deserved it. I deserved it. And she has passed away now. Yes, the ladies' dads really love Tom Jones, and Karen here was one of them. In 8th grade, she parodied It's Not Unusual to the school class, brought her record player in or whatever, and she sang It's Not Unusual. I would love to have that video. That's all I can tell you. I left Catholic school in 6th grade, not by choice, but by stupid behavior, because my father had died the previous year. And now in 6th grade, with a nun that we knew couldn't control her class, the group seemed to want me to be part of their little clique. It was Charlie, it was Michael, it was Keith, and then me. And so we would get thrown out of class, sent to the principal's office, got my ear pulled more than once by Mother Edwards, as the others did. But they all got to stay on to 7th grade because they had ties in the parish and what have you. And my mom, really didn't. She went to mass, but that was it. They didn't know her. And so I had to go to Veraldi Junior High School in 7th grade. and I didn't get to be with Karen for those last 2 years there. And we both went our separate ways. She got married. I got married after her. And wow, we're going past 92 people watching right now. And when my first marriage started to fail, I came back. We were living in South Carolina. My second wife and I came back to see my kids, as I did it every chance I could. And I saw Karen in the convenience store / gas station scratching lottery tickets, as she loves to do. And we started talking, and she told me that she had a boarding house. And I said, well, I better get your phone number then, because I don't think I'm going to be in South Carolina too much longer. And sure enough, that was a prophecy that came true. And I don't know if that was a self-fulfilling prophecy. And I came back, and we hooked up. I got a job at WVOS FM in Monticello. I was living in my car. I didn't tell her that when I came to dinner for the first time. I didn't tell her I was homeless for a brief time. And as soon as she learned that, she says, well, I got a tenant over there that's going to be moving soon. And but for now, you could sleep on the couch in the living room, And that's what I did in that boarding house. And then after a time, she invited me to come here. And about not too many months after that, in 2010. 2010. Hey, Rita, lovely Rita Maid. Didn't even know you were here, and you're saying good night. Good night, Rita, and thank you for joining us tonight. There you go. So there's a lot of stuff, more videos to come. And check out all our videos here at the Virtual Church of the Disillusioned. Thank you, everybody that hit the Cash App tonight. I really appreciate it. Jane Justice, Tammy, $10. Tammy J. There, I see it now. Congratulations on 10,000 subscribers. I blog, therefore I am, $4.99. Thank you. He's been with us for a good while. Jody, who frequently hits the thanks button or the Cash App. Media Guy, 5.6, lowercase letters, Media Guy, 5.6. Myla Sheedy, $9.99. Thank you. Ted Richards, congratulations on 10,000 subscribers. Jack, you're among YouTube's best, and hands down the best family found anywhere. Isn't that nice? MJ Las Vegas, new to the mix, and hit the Cash App for the thanks button for $50. Thank you, sir. Really, really appreciate it. Congrats, Jack, on 10K. And we mentioned the others as well, including Not Large Marge, $10. And Georgia Peach, $10. And of course, Sam Semi. Thank you, Sam. Hit it twice. So much thanks to you guys. I appreciate that. It's 12:10. It's going to warm up. We had a winter's day today here on April 12th. Now the 13th. Let me put on my other specs if I can find them. I'm like Fred Sanford here, going through the drawer full of eyeglasses. Always like to close with a little scripture. So sorry about the family and the helicopter pilot that was lost in New York City. This man worked for Siemens, and he had a beautiful family, including a little toddler. There's that thing on the helicopter called the Jesus nut. In other words, if that thing goes, you're going to meet Jesus. And nothing wrong with meeting Jesus. Of course, these kids were just starting out. They wanted to see the world that God created and what have you. And they were obviously a blessed family. And it all ended in the blink of an eye when that thing started to fall apart and they fell upside down into the water very close to shore. So keep them in your thoughts. That family was just a sad, tragic thing to see happen. I don't do helicopters. I don't do single engine planes. I don't bungee. I don't do things that takes all the control I feel away. But with all that said, God has his plans, and when it's your turn, it's your turn. First Thessalonians chapter 4, Paul writing to the Thessalonians. In closing, finally, then, brethren, we urge and exhort you in the Lord Jesus Christ that you should abound more and more, just as you received from us how you ought to walk and to please God. The Bible is an instruction manual, for you know what commandments we gave you through our Lord Jesus. For this is the will of God, your sanctification, that you should abstain from sexual immorality. Paul talks a lot about that. And in Romans 10, or in the 10th, wait a minute now. I'm sorry, the 7th chapter of Romans, he admits his own shortcomings in that area. So we all fall short. It's just that, as Paul says, he has not attained the prize, but he remains steadfast and continues on with the fight. You should know how to possess. Each of you should know how to possess his own vessel in sanctification and honor. I think we can know what he's alluding to there. Not in passion of lust like the Gentiles who do not know God. That no one should take advantage of and defraud his brother in this matter, because the Lord is the avenger of all such, as we are forewarned. We have forewarned you and testified. For God did not call us to be unclean, but he called us to holiness. From First Thessalonians. Amen, amen, amen. Whoa, we're going long tonight. On our April 12th show, that has turned into the 13th for me, the night we reached 10,000 subscribers. Thank you very, very much for that. More people will have a chance at seeing us now. More videos will be coming up, including the Johnny Mathis video. We've got more cool Bob Joyce pictures coming up, that video this week. And the interview that I hope to do with Gregory Pritchard, who is the man who filmed the video in Bob Joyce's house, that'll probably be released Friday if we can pull it together and get it up and ready by next Friday. Okay. So thank you. You're a great bunch of people. I appreciate everything you've done, and appreciate you watching us here on Worldwide Ramblings. Have a terrific Sunday. God bless you. Talk to you soon.